Tell me a bit more about your characters and what makes them special in this universe of Star Trek.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I played Dr. Hugh Culber. I'm the medical officer on the USS Discovery. And I also happen to be the love of Paul Stamets' life. So really my character's arc is really about how one balances their profession and their love when they're working, having to be working. One of their co-workers is their life partner.
Yeah, and I'm Lieutenant Paul Stamets, and I'm a science officer, but not just sort of a general science officer, a very particular science officer working in the field of astromycology, which is the study of mushrooms and fungus and mycelium, and it has far-reaching implications on the mission of our ship, and I cannot say more than that.
Okay, then, but you can maybe say why Discovery is a special series and different from any other Star Trek.
Well, it takes place in a time that's near the time that we're very familiar with of Kirk and Spock. It's 10 years before that, and it helps fill in some of the gaps of some of the history of Starfleet. And it's also very different in the sense that what starts happening in Episode 1, that story begins there and it follows through. Every thread of it follows through to the end of the season. Usually Star Trek is sort of like this short story and that short story and that short story. It doesn't have that thread, that serialized, long-form storytelling, novelistic storytelling.
Yeah, sure.
No, I was just going to say, and what's also different is visually, this series is going to look very different in terms of the effects, and it's going to be quite impressive.
Fantastic. And how is it to be part of this cosmos that is Star Trek?
Surreal, I think growing up, for I can speak for both of us, is that growing up we wished and hoped to someday be able to be a part of it, but to actually be doing it and to walk onto those sets and wearing that uniform and saying those words, it took a minute to get over the excitement of it.
It's really interesting. I grew up a nerd, and I remember, I was so fascinated by all these things, but it always seemed like, it was something over there that I would never be. I don't think that I even really thought I want to be a part of that because I didn't think that would ever happen. And it's funny now, too, we're living in an era where sort of nerd culture is really taking over. In a way, it's not just for the weirdos. And I've been a weirdo all my life, so it's just funny that it's become so respected, and not just like, oh, there's that weird thing that people like.
And we are living in an era where the diversity of the cast and the characters is very important.
Yes,
right?
and that's all. I mean, the diversity of Star Trek has always been the case. It was part of Gene Roddenberry, the creator of the show, his vision to have Uhura, a black woman, on the bridge, to have Sulu, an Asian man, on the bridge, in positions of power. And that their differences weren't an issue in any way, shape, or form, was central to what he was trying to do. So it had to happen that when we're doing it in 2017, that it would continue that tradition.
And the USS Discovery, how different is it from the renowned Enterprise?
Well, it's pretty. I remember early in one of the scripts, it describes it as shiny. It's designed around a particular field of research. I mean, it has to do with part of what I'm doing, but it's basically a science vessel in a way, more so than some of the other ships have been. So it's sort of like state-of-the-art, high-tech, sort of gleaming. It's a little fancier in that way.
It's a brand new ship. It's pretty brand new when you meet us on it.
So it's advanced.
We can't give out too
It's
much
kind of
info.
advanced. So it's got a shiny nature to it. Is what I would say.
Just to finish, have you guys been to Portugal before?
I have not.
I want to go so bad.
I've been to a lot of places in Europe and not Portugal yet.
Okay, so we are waiting for you guys there.
I'm coming.
Obrigado.
Thank you so much. That's right. Obrigado. Thank